Hello. Episode 10, Part 10, Corrupt Justice System. Here, the US, and maybe around the world. In today's episode, I just simply want to talk about what real crimes are. In our culture, we've been trained to think everything's a violent crime, everything's like Armageddon. Any action is like world's gonna end. It's simply not true. But we've been programmed to think this way. Let me tell you, in my view, what real crimes are, and then we could take it from there. So to me, real crimes are a violent action, whether that's vandalism, murder, rape, God forbid, or attempted rape, attempted murder, maybe even attempted vandalism. The other real crime is purposed harassment. So that means if you're interacting with someone and they say no thank you and you keep interacting with them, that's real harassment. The other real crime is identity theft, right? If someone steals your identity or financial information through a computer, the other real crime is theft. Now, I believe in levels of stealing, like breaking into a car and stealing, or breaking into a house, God forbid, and stealing is different from the stealing at a candy store. They're still stealing, but again, I feel there should be a worse consequence if you break into the car or the home. Of course, my eyes are wincing because it's a little cooler code today. All good. I'm gonna man it up. The other real crime is selling deadly drugs, like fentanyl, ecstasy, and heroin. Like those are like deadly drugs where if you take it, it's like game over for you. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the other like real few other crimes that I feel. To me, people will disagree with this, but to me, public littering. To me, that's another real crime because other people are being exposed to anything that's hazardous in public. If you want to litter in your own home. But in public, it's just different. Another real crime is if you park your car, but you're blocking a crosswalk. Like that's dumb to do. But if you block a crosswalk by parking your car in front of it, yeah, like that's a real crime. So let me see what else. I want to make sure I get all, in my view, what all the real crimes are. Violent acts, stealing, identity theft, purposed harassment, selling deadly drugs, and then the littering in public, and then the parking in front of a crosswalk. So to me, those are real crimes, but here's the main point. Those are just a handful of actions, right? It's not like 100 actions. The way our country is, as I've talked about, we're so regulated. We have so many laws. There's like 100 laws, 100 million laws. I mean, too many. And we have too many rules. Too much. All we need is just a handful of laws. That's it. So I've said all of that. So here's the real test. What do you think are real crimes? Remember, I just gave you what are real crimes. So you have to kind of walk back, but you'd have to ask yourself, if you get the programming, what we've been programmed to think is real crime, if you get out of the bubble, really think, what's an actual crime? So you gotta think to yourself, if this action does not affect everyone else, then I can't see that being a real crime. But if an action can affect everyone else, or will affect everyone else, then that's probably considered a real crime. So again, you just gotta think to yourself, what will affect everyone else? And this is why I mentioned public littering, because maybe for some people it's no big deal, but you're affecting everyone else. When I mentioned the deadly drugs, right? I mentioned 3, right? Fentanyl, ecstasy, and heroin. I purposely did not include marijuana or meth. When I talked about marijuana, I did mention how it should be legal. However, I understand if you want to regulate it, because some people don't like the smell. So that's why I said with marijuana, just take it in your home, or take it inside a private establishment, or take it in designated public areas. Fair enough. Or with meth. Meth is not, as I mentioned, meth is not necessarily good for you. But some people simply want to take a drug, whether we like it or not. If you're going to take meth, take it in your home, for example. So, certain actions, if you're going to legalize it, I could see us regulating something. I could see that part. Again, like the marijuana, just because you legalize it, I can understand how it could still bother people. That's why I'm fine with having something legal, but again, have some regulation. I'm fine with that. But you gotta really think to yourself, with what you've been told in your life is a crime. Is it really a crime? Does it really affect society? Now, I could give examples of what's controversial, but it's not a real crime. I could do that, but I would give Western society a heart attack, and I don't want to do that. I'm already the villain in society to begin with. But if you could think to yourself, I've been told this is a real crime all my life, but is it really? Remember the key. If it affects everyone else in a negative light, then okay, I could see it being at most a crime, or at least you regulate it. But it's not, if it's not affecting everyone else, why is it a real crime? Again, you gotta just ask yourself what you've been programmed to think in your life, in the West, or in the US. Is that really, is it really gonna screw people over and stuff like that? No, I'm gonna wrap up is the 10-minute mark. For the half a person in the galaxy that has watched this, I say thank you. I just needed to, with the experiences I've had in my life and the recent experiences I've had, at this point, this justice system, man, it's just too powerful. It's gotta be brought to light. I mean, again, half a person's gonna watch this, so, but I'm hoping more people would realize, law enforcement for decades, for many decades, they've done whatever they wanted because lawmakers created a million laws and a million rules that keep us slaves. All right, before it gets to 11 minutes, take care.